Hey everybody, it's the coach, and this is Madden 19 on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a good one in store between the Portland Snowhawks and the LA Aftershocks. I'll have scores around the league for you at the half, but it's time for a little football. So we'll hand it over to our broadcast team, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
America's finest city on about as fine a Sunday afternoon as you're ever going to see. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Portland Snowhawks and our home team. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Godden. And Charles, you take a look at our home side as we enter play here. They were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
Meanwhile, for this visiting Portland club, they come into this one after a loss in the opener, and they're in for another tough test here.
And what a battle for an organization to look at your schedule and see 2 road games to start the season and not have a letdown immediately. You got to fight against that. They've got to come out ready to play.
So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And a glance here at their quarterback, standing 6'3".
And this could be a whole lot of fun because if his game plan goes into effect early, we're going to see some shots downfield, aren't we? What did he talk to us about? Stretching the field. Wants to open things up for not just his receivers, but for anything underneath.
Well, that was the theme, the front page of the sports section, where the columnists write, possible air raid. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the coaches view that, right? Who gave away the game plan? I think it's pretty obvious, though. That'll help them win.
First down, David. And incomplete to open things up. And this O-line, it is the lifeblood of the offense.
They establish the tone. Mean, nasty, physical. They can't wait to get after people. That allows the rest of the offense to feel confident.
Line of scrimmage, again the 25, 2nd and 10. Throwing again on 2nd and 10. David, he's going to rifle one deep left side. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. Time for a look at our starters here on defense. And this unit, very tough to throw against, currently 2nd best in the NFL.
And, hey, they were stingy in the opener. Didn't allow much of anything at all through the air. So now they come into week 2 saying, hey, let's see if we can do even better. Let's go ahead and get to that number 1 spot.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Looking to throw. David. Open man is Henderson. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. A gain of 26 on the 3rd down conversion.
That was an excellent read right there. Saw cover 1. That means it's just a single high safety. So you know if you throw the ball to the outside part of the field, help is going to be a little bit late getting there. And he puts one out there for a big-time completion.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. They just do get the playoff as he'll look to throw. And he rifles one incomplete.
Well, he kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. To throw again, David. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up 3rd down.
Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Back to throw. David over the middle. He finds Henderson complete. And he gets it inside the 35 and just shy of the 30. 18 yards there and a 1st down.
They've got good playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know what happened last week to really hurt their performance and hold down their production, but I would dare say that this week in practice, there's a lot of talk about how they're going to increase their proficiency.
And that was a good start, getting the playmakers involved. You mentioned that to me pregame. That's what they did there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the coaching staff really gets on them, and that's how they motivate them. Most of these guys are self-motivated. They have a lot of pride in their performance.
Got his man complete over the middle. It's Henderson. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the 1st down completion. And they'll go with a ground attack here. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
Face mask. Defense.
Of course, they have the option, and they choose to not take the penalty.
They like the results of the play that they just ran, and they elect to let them stand.
And they've got another 1st and 10 as the penalty keeps this drive moving.
All right, here we go.
Looking to throw. David. That is caught right at the 10-yard line. And they've got it inside the 10 at the 8. A solid pickup at 13 sets them up 1st and goal. Defensively, they better figure something out. Opening drive, he already has 4 catches.
And if you have to figure out how to stop him defensively, that usually means you weaken your defense. That means that now the
And he will take this one in for a touchdown. In for the score. And this offense takes the ball down the field and scores on their opening drive. Building confidence after a loss, that's a good way to do it. The loss last game, but first drive here in this one, cashing it in for 6.
Hey, they can talk all they want about putting a loss behind them. I think that drive there did more than any conversation they had, don't you think?
That's exactly right. Puts that to bed, and this is what they said all week long. A lot of things they needed to do differently. Whatever they said appears to have worked. Now the extra point try forthcoming. The extra point up and good. And it's now a 7-0 game. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. This is taken at the 3. And penalty markers down on the field. And they might be backing up a bit here to start the drive.
Illegal block in the back. Return team.
And they will elect to decline the penalty.
Everything turned out the way they wanted it to. No sense in even having to take that one. Hence the decline.
So the special teams penalty cost some yardage there as they come out on 1st and 10. Now a play fake here on 1st down. And a big loss here as he's taken down.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
So after the sack, a scenario you certainly don't work on too often. 2nd and 24. Looking to throw. And that's off the mark, incomplete. You know, projections for him were a little all over the board. Some saw him as a day 3 pick, maybe a little bit higher. But here he is, round 3.
I do know teams that had him listed as a first-round talent. I also had teams that had him listed as a day 3 guy, which is rounds 4 through 7. So him going in the 3rd round kind of fit in the middle. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder wanting to prove that he should have been taken higher.
They added a lot of talent to a roster that really needed an infusion of youth. They got a very good infusion of youth.
And they didn't really reach to get anyone as well. They stuck to their draft philosophy, got the best players they could at the time they were drafting, and inserted them into their lineup.
And the penalty helps, but not a whole lot. It's still 3rd and long. He'll look to throw. And this is going to be incomplete.
And 3rd down is a key down in any game you play. And 3rd down defense, something we've got to watch in this one. Got to be effective on the passing downs. That's a pretty good first step right there.
Oh, and what a play on special teams here. This is going to be down inside the 5, all the way down at the 2-yard line. Now this offense ready to head back out there. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. And look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
And on the ground they go with a running back. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. A gain of 3, 2nd down. From deep in their own territory, they look to throw. And his throw here's incomplete. That's twice now already in this first quarter that he's been able to knock a ball away.
They're going to need that from him and plenty more if they want to slow down this passing game. Thus far, though, he's been a ball magnet.
They'd like to avoid punting from their own end zone so they could use something here on 3rd down. Back to throw. David. And that is incomplete. So possession 1 ended in 6. Possession 2 likely going to end in a punt.
Yeah, that's okay. They just got to get back to what they worked on in the opening drive and continue to make a few adjustments along the way. It won't be exact because the defense will make a few adjustments themselves. Just get back to your game plan.
It'll be a 48-yard punt. 5 there on the return. And possession will switch hands. 1st and 10. Good starting field position for them as they come up 1st and 10.
Here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Wide open receiver complete. And they're going to be set up down around the 15-yard line. And give them a gain of 37.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that, have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing. Those types of plays that can knock a defense off balance, that'll drive a team towards a victory.
So after the big play, look at this, all the way down at the 15 now on 1st and 10.
Now let's go.
Movement there on the offensive line, a little quick, and a 5-yard penalty.
False start, offense.
So that'll back him up 5. The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. The numbers for him from a week ago, 20 carries, 60 yards.
And I'm eager to see how they deploy him in this game. Last week, a heavy workload. Do they decide to bring that down a little bit and try and keep him fresh? Or do they say, guess what? He's locked in. Keep handing him the football. But that call makes sense because they've been throwing it well on this drive, and once again they show passing formation, showing the shotgun. Then they ran out of it. That's a nice play by them defensively, though, to hold it to a short gain.
Here we go.
And they'll run it here. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. 5 yards on the pickup, and that's going to lead to a third down.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
And before they can get settled in here, time expires on the first quarter of action. 7-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. Back with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and our drive continues here to start quarter number 2. They're on the march, but facing a 3rd down here.
Here we go. Blue landed.
They're going to look to throw. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
But we always talk about how you've got to be quick when you go through your progressions, and here's another prime example. Trying to look downfield, he was standing in the pocket, but just couldn't find anyone open, could he?
No, not enough time. They hit him and forced that incompletion. And his kick here is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So a good kick there, and they put the bow tie on it with 3 points.
And let's face it, everybody wants a touchdown. We know that. But in the NFL, defenses are awfully good. You're not going to score each and every time. Be able to knock the ball through the post and take the throw.
By the way, I said bow tie. I meant just bow. Not the tie, but yeah.
Either way.
You got it.
I just went right past it.
And he's able to get it up close to the 35, but hang on here. Penalty marker down. This one might be going the other way.
Return team.
They were trying to create some space to run. They created the penalty.
And you work on it so much. You work on it so hard. But it's tough to simulate game speed in practice. And that often runs you into a penalty.
Here we go now. 3-19. 3-19.
On 1st and 10, David, nowhere to go here. He lost the football. And this is going to go the other way. The defense has it. Some guys just have a knack for creating turnovers. He's got a little bit of that going. He forced a fumble last week, another one there.
And it just drives teams crazy because they realize that certain guys, as you said, have that knack, and they're trying to keep them away from the action, away from the ball. But the best ones have that overwhelming desire, that overwhelming need to get to the football and make it happen, and that he does.
So out now comes the offense back onto the field. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
And a pickup of about 4 down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
And he floats one there, incomplete.
All defenders get tired of hearing about their lack of hands and why they're playing defense instead of offense. But in this situation, it was the hands that made the play. Batting the ball away on an attempted touchdown pass. Excellent job. Way to knock it down.
Back to throw. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. The decision to tuck and run gets him 3, but that's not enough. Now it's 4th.
Well, partner, nothing comes open here, so he decides to escape out of there, and he doesn't pick up a first down, but he does gain additional yardage to set up a possible field goal attempt if they decide to go that route.
And his kick is good. And they'll get it back within a point at 7-6. So they recovered the fumble, but ultimately could not take advantage of the short field.
Definitely a lost opportunity right there. I mean, they were in prime position to put 6 on the board. Ended up settling for 3.
And he'll take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. Now this offense about ready to take over again. And last drive, obviously not what you're looking for. You've got the lead. You got to protect the football.
So in other words, someone got lucky because they've been moving the ball really well and wearing them down. In this case, though, giving up the football doesn't make them very happy. They can't wait to get back out there and atone for it.
Yeah, try to atone for it here on this drive. And that one goes incomplete. They tried something out of the bag of tricks, but it's incomplete and now second down.
Here we go now.
Throwing again, David. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down. Looking to throw. David into heavy traffic, and it's intercepted. Picked off around the 37, and his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. They're trying to resurrect his confidence. Last week was a disaster. 5 interceptions in that loss, and another pick there.
I played with a quarterback like this before, and he had a tough game, and the head coach said, I'll take him, I'll fix him. The very next game, he started out the exact same way. The head coach turned to the offense coordinator and said, he's yours from now on. Someone has to take responsibility and work with him and try and get him settled.
A pass for negative yardage, obviously no good. Maybe he shouldn't have thrown it, or maybe he shouldn't have caught it.
And I think we were seeing it at the same time, weren't we? Maybe you let that one go, right? Because you can see the lost yardage about to develop. But that goes against every instinct of a receiver. They're taught to catch everything. So it's really hard to be mad at him and yell at him for trying to make that play.
They get 11 back on that one. It leads to third down. A third field goal of the first half, not what they're looking for as they come up on third down.
Here we go now. Green 39. Green 39.
And they'll go ground game here with a tailback. And he's going to get the first down as they bring him down at the 23. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
So it's pretty simple, partner. You pick up a turnover, set you up in excellent field position. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out in this spot.
Yeah, they would have had to settle for a field goal attempt, but now they keep those touchdown hopes alive. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21.
Well, he hasn't made much of an impact in the running game thus far, and after that last run, not much is going to change in that area.
He hasn't been able to get anything going, and really the offensive line not helping him much.
Here we go. Green 30.
Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
It's a lot of contact going on there, and in the end, unable to keep 2 hands on the football and bring it into his body.
Everything looked pretty good until the finish. This offense so far on 3rd down, they've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 8.
Here we go now.
Now they'll run on the draw. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. That'll be good for 6, but now it's 4th down.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
And his kick is good. And they jump back in front here. It's 9-7. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. This one taken from the 7. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. Now out comes their leader and the captain of this offense back onto the field. He's had a solid start to this game, but bottom line is they're losing, so he doesn't care about his stats. He just wants to right the ship on the scoreboard.
He wants to actually increase his stats because he feels like if he does, that means things will get better for his team, maybe get him back into the ball game or into the lead. In these situations, I remember playing with a quarterback once where he actually ran out onto the field first ahead of everyone else just to say, guys, let's go. Try and create that energy, create that spark.
Well, so far he has 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He'll be looking for that second touchdown now. This quarterback now just 7 of 15 so far, but he's got a 1st and 10. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. His throw incomplete.
That one didn't quite make it to the target, but that's not always a function of the strength of the arm of the quarterback, is it? Sometimes there's just too much pressure there. In any case, the ball doesn't arrive.
Let's go!
Back to the air on 2nd down. David. And it's knocked away and incomplete.
Well, so many times defensive backs get caught playing the man rather than the football, but not in this case. That's an excellent play. Did exactly what you're supposed to do. Attack the football and help break up the pass.
And, yep, as a result, knocks it down. Back to throw. David. And that's incomplete.
The effort's always going to be there. Everyone's always going to try and make a catch, but underthrown balls, I think, are the toughest ones to come back and get because usually your momentum's going in the opposite direction when you're trying to stop, break, and come back and get it.
There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. It's the 2nd quarter. His team has the lead, but I think he's hoping for a little bit more production out of himself.
And we often talk about preaching patience to a runner when things are a little bumpy in the early going, but we have to do the same thing with the offensive line. They can't wait to halftime to make the adjustments. They have to do it from series to series for those surface tablets come into play. Check out what the defense is doing and see if they can find a better way to run it.
So they search for that patience here now.
Well, partner, they're not content to run this one out as we head towards the half, trying to hit a big chunk play right there and add to their score.
Yeah, this is a confident group. At the very least, they're thinking field goal.
Yeah, and I don't blame them one bit. I don't think you sit on the ball going into the half when you have a chance to put some more points on the board.
Call it a gain of 4, and it'll leave them with a 3rd down and 6 to go.
Let's go!
So we have reached halftime here in a tight 2-point contest. As we'll send you back over to Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report, here's Jonathan Coachman.
Okay, Brandon, we'll get you back to you and Charles in a bit, but first it's time for a trip around the NFL following an eventful opening weekend. Let's see what's happening in Week 2. We'll start by heading out west to Glendale, Arizona, and it's the Vikings who are out in front. The Vikes trying to finish that one off and claim victory. From there, we head cross-country to check on the Giants at home at MetLife Stadium. And they were losers in their ball game to the visiting Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, in our game, it's been a defensive struggle. Which offense can break through in the second half? To find out, let's hand it over to our broadcast team of Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Out comes this offensive unit as they get set to take over here. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking to extend that lead.
And this is where I enjoy talking about one of my favorite subjects, tendency breakers, or counters as I also like to call them. You've done things in a certain way in the first half, and they've had the ability to see what you've done. They're going to make their adjustments. So guess what? You adjust yourself and try and stay ahead of the pace because you are looking for some separation in this ball game.
The adjustment to the adjustment.
Without a doubt. Show them one thing, hit them with something else.
Here we go now.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving.
They're trying to show that they can run the ball and protect this lead. Give it to the backs, play a little bit of keep away, don't you think?
And that's probably a good philosophy at this point, going to make that defense stand up and stop them. They'll look to throw here on first down. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's second down.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
Well, he challenged the play. It did not pay off.
And that means he lost a timeout in that challenge.
And as a coach, you hate that. Don't know if you took the advice of the player, you threw it yourself, but it didn't go your way.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to the head coach. He has the final determination on whether to actually challenge the play or not. In this case, it didn't pay off for him.
And that's got to be so heartbreaking. You throw that flag, you probably feel really confident, and then all of a sudden, boom, you lose the challenge.
Yeah, when you take a look at it, you're throwing that flag because you believe you're going to be right. And when it comes back the other way, you have to regroup.
They'll look to throw here. And complete on the right side to Bennett. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down. Inside 4 minutes to go, third quarter. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. 4 yards on the pickup, and that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
And he's going to get the first down as they bring him down at the 23. They only get 2 there, but on 3rd and 1, that's all they needed to keep the drive going.
Well, this has been a long drive. In fact, it's eaten up a good chunk of the third quarter, which is precisely what you want when you're playing with the lead. You control the football, you control the clock, and impose your will on the defense.
And they'll go on the ground. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. Give him a couple on the carry there, 2nd and 8.
Another scouting report on him is that he doesn't possess the eye discipline to be an elite linebacker. And what that means is his ability to read, react, and make a play. But on that one, he looked like one of those guys.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And all the way to the 2-yard line there before crossing over out of bounds. A good pick up there of 20 yards. Great footwork there, Charles, to dot the I, stay in bounds, get both feet in. He's probably thinking, though, man, I made a catch like that close to the end zone. I should have scored.
Yeah, there's always a regret when you're that close to the goal line. But let's go back to what you talked about before. Getting his feet down. Would you say dotting the I? I can cross the T as well. That was excellent footwork to get in bounds and make a great catch.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. And forget about finding a lane. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield.
He may be a bit undersized compared to the modern-day NFL defensive tackle, but what he lacks in size, he definitely makes up for in his ability to make tackles in the run game as well.
He'll drop to throw. Floating one, incomplete.
Quarterbacking 101. Never force the ball into double coverage. Especially not this close to the goal line. The windows are so tight, you just don't want to force it in there because it could be tipped up and picked off.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And they'll get him down just shy of the goal line at about the 1. He needed 3. He got 2. Now that'll set up an interesting situation here on 4th and a yard.
Another stop on 3rd down, and this defense still hasn't allowed a touchdown to this point.
And this one is right through. And that will push the lead up to 12-7. So making 4 out of 4 now in the field goal department, and he's able to extend their lead.
When drives are bogged down, he's been automatic out there. So nice to have a kicker you can count on to put points on the board.
And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. Now we take a glance at the offense as they work their way back out for their first possession of the second half. They're down in this game. A chance for the offense, though, to put something on the board, get some momentum here in half two.
Try and get things kick-started for them. And you know at the half, they discussed how...
Nowhere to go here. He lost the football. But thankfully, this is corralled by the offense, so they will, in fact, hold on to the football. The first down play, to be frank, nothing short of awful, and now they have to deal with second and very long. To throw on second down, David. So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his third down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now here on EA Sports as we are set to bring you the home stretch here, the 4th quarter. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's third and very long. Looking to throw. David. He's going to look deep down the field. Now that'll be tipped and intercepted. Picked off near the 44. And he'll get this back to the 32-yard line. Charles, whatever's going on between his ears right now, it's just not completely calculated correctly. 7 picks between last week and this week after that one.
And they always say the most important part of a player is those 6 inches between the ears. But right now, it's all those interceptions that are going on. So whoever his trusted confidant is on the sidelines, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, the quarterback's coach, maybe the backup quarterback, that's who he needs to get with now and get himself calm.
He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's second down.
How about a tip of the cap to the defense? They're working against a very mobile quarterback, but all day long they've kept him under wraps. And on that play, they held him to a short gain.
Over the middle, complete. It's Shelton. And they'll bring him down at the 18-yard line. 9 yards on the pickup there, and it keeps the drive alive.
That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch, and put the down marker back to 1.
And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up second down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
And they'll go with a ground attack here. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. 9 yards on the play there, and it sets him up first and goal.
Well, it is our business to analyze what we saw out there. And on that play, I saw a defense staying in base, not taking a chance, not blitzing in a situation where they absolutely need the football back. That's either a case of overthinking it or not thinking it through.
If you do blitz, do you have to be careful about where you're coming from, or are you just coming from all angles?
You have to be careful about where you're coming from, obviously. But at this stage, you have to take a few chances as well. I like that run right there, partner. Not the flashiest run, not the one that's going to break for big yardage, but he understands the situation. And taking care of the football, paramount, and he got it done.
And he is into the end zone for a touchdown. A great effort there. His first touchdown here of the new campaign. And his guys find a way to stretch that lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Now the extra point. The extra point splits the uprights, and it gives his guys a 12-point advantage. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And now back out comes the offense. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. Now here's a pass on first down that's knocked away and incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. He's going to rifle one deep left side. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. He started out having some troubles back in the first half connecting with his receivers. Really hasn't gotten a whole lot better.
Yeah, he's at less than 50%, and you and I both know that just won't do. So I would think about spreading things out, putting it on the receivers, make them win those one-on-one battles on the perimeter and find their way open.
He's going to air one out, and incomplete. He can't hang on. Would have been a nice catch. Instead, it brings up a fourth down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
Hurry up, here we go.
Got to try it here. He's back to throw. Pressure from his right, and he goes down hard, flat on his back. A big-time sack there on fourth down. And, boy, possession here turns over with the football already being in the red zone. So now with a 2-minute warning coming up fast, that puts a mammoth dent in their comeback hopes.
I like how you phrased it. It's a dent because they're still
under a heavy rush, and down he goes.
Got to give him points for the attempt, but there's just a wave of pressure there. A host of people in the area. Evades a few, but couldn't evade all of them.
Time for a break. So it's our home team here in possession of the football as we come back. And the scoreboard on their side, they're just looking to melt away these final couple of minutes and put this one in the left-hand column. And on the ground they go with the running back. And he'll keep it moving down to the 15-yard line. 8 yards here, so that gets him back within striking distance. And now it's third down.
Okay, he didn't break that one all the way, but you got to know that he feels like he's right on the verge, and that's probably exactly what he's telling them in the huddle right now.
Now they try the right side here. No gain on the play there, and it'll bring up fourth down.
I know that speed is the hallmark of today's NFL game, but the key to good rushing defense is still having your linebackers set the edge.
And his kick is right there. It's good. And that will make this now a 15-point advantage. So yet another field goal to end a drive. That has been a very common theme. He's now hit 5 of them in this game.
Yeah, Brandon, as an offense, you hate that you've had to call on your kicker so often. But you have to love the fact that time and time again, he's come through.
Now this offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And on that last drive, went for it on fourth, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on fourth down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here, because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3, and that's exactly what happened there.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Now a desperation throw deep downfield, and that will be incomplete with a clock showing 18 seconds now to go. Tried to go for the big one there on second down. Now they're likely down to their final 2 plays.
And you know they've got to keep going for the big shot, right? So defensively, you play what they call top down. Nothing behind you. Make everything get completed in front.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. And now before they run this fourth down play, we're going to get a timeout, as they'll stop him with 13 seconds left to play. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. He's going to let it fly. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete. They had to go for it with such little time remaining. And that'll be just about all she wrote for this one. So with that, we can just about close the book on this one, Charles.
Yeah, what's the old expression about slim and none? Well, Slim just left town on that
They're
one.
down to none?
Yes, exactly right.
And, Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for the home team here, they use the favorable early schedule to their advantage as they move to 2-0. And they will hit the road next week. Meanwhile, for our visitors, they'll drop to 0-2. And they'll get a home date next week against the Kansas City Chiefs. So for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Next game, guess what? Charles and I will be here again. It's the NFL on EA Sports.